The final battles are upon us. We have Beowulf, our AI opponent. Surtur's follower has defeated a monster and become a monster slayer. He is now going to try to defeat the boss, Loki. If he does, he will be successful and the champion of Midgard. Not good for us. Meanwhile, we are trying to win by the Great Jarl, which means that we will have full control of all regions in 3 lands. On the board here, I'm not sure if it's going to happen. I'm really trying for it. Meanwhile, we are only one objective away from triggering Ragnarok. If Ragnarok gets triggered, the Great Winter will come and I will have one turn to try to dominate the spaces around Yggdrasil. Howdy, and welcome back. I'm Mike, your board gaming every dude, and this is Lords of Ragnarok, part of the Awaken Realms Road to Retaliation series, where I am playing through every Awaken Realms game I can get my hands on so we can do a final ranking video, ranking them from best to worst, or however we want to call that. Looking forward to it. Let's get to the game. Also, if you're looking for the tutorial how to play, I'll put the card up here somewhere. You can watch that first. You can watch the whole playthrough if you want. Otherwise, it is the follower's turn. They get to go first. Let's find out what on earth is going to happen. Let's roll the dice. Number 1, monsters. Right off the bat, that means he is going to go after the boss. He's going to go after Loki. I don't know if there's any way to stop it. So, how do I know this? Cutting board, very fancy. So we place 1 on the card to the left is number 1. And, oh boy, he's going to have a special action at the end as well. We'll go over that when it happens. For now, let's just see what's going on. Okay, first of all, follower's turn. I need a refresher. Prayer, send a priest. We just built a monument which refreshed priests. He does have 1, and his might is his preference, and that is the one we're going to do. So we're going to place a priest there, take the might up 1. Now it is more than 1 space above the next lowest one, so if we have to increase an attribute again, then we would increase the lowest one. In this case, it would be authority, but for now, it's might, which isn't good because he's going to use that to battle Loki, the boss. All right, whatever. So we did that, plus 1 might. Cool. Now we're going to pick a rune. Where's Beowulf? Beowulf is right here. There are no runes in his sector or in an adjacent sector. So he does not get to get a rune. I like it. He has 2 runes as is. Place the follower's hero. Where are you going to go? He's going to go to number 8. All right. He's at 16. He's going to do a big jump. And he's landing in my territory. Fearlessly landing in my territory. What do you got next? Rune action. All right, let's go through them. From left to right, skipping the one with the dice. Remember, I have 2 runes to spend right here. Boom, boom. So, control monster is going to be the first one. That means he's going to take control of a monster in his region or adjacent. If that's not the case, and I don't control a monster, then he would ignore the region requirement. Beowulf does control a monster. He is controlling the very scary Draugr, I believe. Yeah, he's controlling the Draugr right here. So, I believe that means that we cannot do that action. Let me double check here. Control a monster. If it cannot take control of a monster, no monster in its region, and an adjacent one, and it has no monsters, ignore the region requirement. So this one isn't going to work. He doesn't need to do it. So next one is going to be draw combat cards. I believe he can do that. How many runes is that? 2 runes. Okay, we're going to take 2 runes right here, put them back in the pool. And he's going to draw 2 combat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He has 7. He can only go up to 8. So he's only going to draw 1. Boom. And he has no runes left, so it doesn't matter what the next one is. He's not going to get to do it. Awesome. All right, what do you got next for me? Now we do our maneuvers. This is the part that's going to be kind of scary. So his preference is to invade a region that belongs to me of the lowest population value and with preference to a temple. Those are all tiebreakers. Basically, he wants to take over my region. So he has some options. The only one that is adjacent to my region is right over here. So he's going to want to invade either here or here. This has a population / army value of 6. This army plus, well, I guess it would just be 5 for now. 5, whereas this has nobody, so that's going to be a population of 1. He's going to go right here. Boom. And he now has control of that region because it counted as 1. So he's invaded. We're done with maneuvers. His special action is going to be the one on the card, which in this case is monsters. And he has not already done monsters. There's no disc on it, so that's what we're going to do. Place one of its control markers on monsters. That's in Muspelheim. Nobody has an alliance with Muspelheim, so they don't gain the benefits listed in that, I call them regions, in that realm. Thank you very much. Regions are places we can go. Realms, you cannot go into a realm. You can go adjacent to it and make an alliance with it and get a benefit. All right. I'm going to have to look at the instruction booklet to remind me exactly how the battle against Loki is. No, you know what? I think I remember this. So, for Beowulf, he is going to go against a monster that is in his region or adjacent to it. Plus 1 space for each blessing or artifact card he has. He has 1 artifact card, as you can see on the board here. Boom. Which means that he would be able to go 1, 2, and 3. He can make it to Loki. If he has already gotten a Slayer token or a monster token like this, because he defeated the troll, he immediately goes after the boss. That's in a 2-player game, which is what this solo game is. If this was a 3-player game, you would have to have 2 monsters defeated. But it's not. So he's going to actually go 1, 2, and 3. And I'm not aware of having to move Beowulf. I didn't see that in the instructions. I don't move him. I just start the battle. So he is going to fight against... Wait a minute. No. He only gets to move 2. So his region or adjacent, plus 1 for 1 artifact card. So he can only make it to here, actually. He can't make it to Loki. So can he fight him? Let me check the rulebook. Okay, so that's right. He has to be able to reach him. If, from what I understand, it says that Loki will always be hunted if the follower can hunt Loki, right? So that means if there was another monster within range, then he could hunt that monster. He's not. He can only go 1, 2, 1, 2. The only monster that he could reach would be Draugr. So what I want to see is, can you hunt a monster that you control? And I believe you can. I didn't see anything that says you cannot. Let me just double check that. I don't see anything that says that you cannot hunt a monster that you also control. So what we're going to do is Beowulf is going to fight against the monster that it can reach, even though otherwise if he could get far enough, he would go after Loki. So he's going to go against Draugr. So let's see this. Here's Draugr right here. Draugr has this artifact card, Blood of Undead. Scary. Monster artifact. Use in battle when applying casualties to your armies. Ignore all casualties, both from played combat cards and losing battle. That'd be useful for me. For Beowulf, if he gets this artifact, that just is permanently going to give him a benefit in combat. He doesn't apply the effect. It just stays face down. So, what that means is I have to apply 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Beowulf needs to apply 5 hits. So here's what Beowulf does, and he's going to totally nail this because he gets to take all his combat cards, and he gets to draw combat cards up to his might, which is 5. You get to ignore his 8 card limit for this. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. What that also means, since his attribute is at 5, that is a condition for Ragnarok. So the next piece of a monument that is built is going to trigger Ragnarok. So knowing that, I may want to shift my gameplay to just trying to control around Yggdrasil and see if I can win that way. All right, we get all these cards, and it doesn't matter if we shuffle them or not, because he gets to use every single one of these. Shields are wild. We only use shields if we need to. So we need a sword. We need 3 swords. So we have 1 sword and 2 swords and 3 swords. Okay, so 3 swords, and we need 2 swords. Oh my goodness. 2 swords, 2 spears. There's 1 and 2. Our attack icons have to match the symbols here. And now this plays very differently than if I were hunting. Then I would actually be using the hunt effects up here when I attack, and the monster gets to attack me back. I'm sorry we haven't seen that in this gameplay, and that's because I chose to play as Ragnar, and his thing is commanding armies, so I wanted to try to win by the Great Jarl. So we may not see that this game. If you'd like another playthrough, maybe we can do that. Okay, so there's all 5 of them. That leaves 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 cards. Remember that. Man, that's nuts. So what we would do is we would place this on each hit. So rune, that means that he gets this benefit. So he gets to gain a rune of any type. It doesn't matter. And we put it onto his player board. All his runes are wild. Boom. Then realm means he gets to make an alliance with any realm, I do believe. Let me double check that. And you know what? I made a mistake. Take that back, which means in a previous video, I'll have to note that I made that mistake. I forgot. If the follower works differently. So if this was mine, then yes, I would put my attack marker. I would gain a rune of my choice. I would get to make an alliance with a realm of my choice. It's different for the follower. So I made a mistake in a previous time, and I gave him those benefits. What he actually should have is he gets one, if he gets any one of these benefits or rewards, he gets 1 priest and only 1 priest. It doesn't matter if I get another reward, he only gets 1 priest for this battle. That's it. Okay, so he got his 1 priest, which would mean that he would actually have a second priest if I were to go back and unwind all of this. But he got some other benefits, so we'll just deal with that. It'll be fine. Let's see. And then he's going to cover all 3 of these. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And these don't have any reward. Instead, since they have no reward, if all of the non-reward spaces get covered, whoever places the last marker there gets to take the artifact. So now the follower, Beowulf, has 2 artifacts, which means every army, when it enters battle, so say his army here has 5, for each artifact card or blessing that he has, it adds 1 more to that army. So this would actually be a total of 7 army, which is insanity. And that's a permanent thing. You know, it doesn't get refreshed. There's no way to lower that once he gets those cards. So we're kind of in trouble there. And also, he defeated. So boom, boom, boom. Remove all of these. Draugr is defeated. I flip it face down. And we get to remove this ring. Put it back. This goes onto Beowulf's board. He has now slayed 2 monsters. Oh boy. These attack cards that he used get discarded. There we go. All the combat cards. And the 8 combat cards right there. Remember there were 8. We put them at the bottom. And we draw 8 new ones. And that's so that we don't know what cards the follower has. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And now we have to shuffle our discard pile up. Lovely. And we draw 3 more after that. There we go. 1, 2, and 3. Boom. Okay, special action is complete, and let's make sure we can see how many combat cards. It helps me if I can always see. 1. Give me a little more space here. There we go. And while I'm doing this, since we finished that special action, the next thing would be to apply any effect on his card, which would be if the follower has an army with a value of 5 or more, it draws 3 combat cards. He's already at his hand limit of 8, so that does not apply in this case. Hope I got that right. Boom. Now we remove the dice, and we see this card gets recycled back into the deck. So first we move these to the left, flip over a new one, boom. So we have Mobilize, Usurp, and Mobilize. That means I know that he's not going to be creating a monument in the next turn, because only if he draws another monster, then we'll still get another turn, because then he'll prepare. If monster and prepare get used up, then he's probably going to end up building a monument in the following turn. So I have a little time. I don't think winning by Jarl is going to win in this setup, and I think I know why. Early, and I'm shuffling this back in here. Early in the game, so Beowulf started right here, and Loki, though, was right here, I believe, in the next region. What I wanted to do, since I was trying to win by Great Jarl, was to start right next to him and start attacking early on. I couldn't do that because of Loki was here with him. Because Loki was here, I couldn't move my armies into that space to attack him. So I started on the opposite side of the board and thought I'll just try to expand out over here. That was a mistake, because I think the strength of starting with Ragnar is attack early. I could be wrong. So what I should have done is started here, picked a rune, used a rune to make the boss move to a different region, then I could attack him early. And I think I might have been able to win by Great Jarl if I did that. But I didn't. So I'm going to try to win by Ragnarok coming. Oh boy. Now I got to do stuff. Okay, first of all, I get to place a priest. I have 2 priests, so I get to place one of them. I think I would like to place it on... I can place it on Wisdom or Authority. And I think I'd like to place it on Authority. Boom. So that I can take my Authority up by 1, because I have the base plus 1 section is built, which means I get to increase the value of one of my armies by 1. That's pretty awesome. I'll take it. Which army? I mean, I feel like this one is the most important, because I'm trying to control. He has control of 1, 2, 3, and 4. 4 regions around Yggdrasil. 4 of 5. I need to control 3 before the end of the game and hold them if I want to win. So I almost need to, or I can try to go for Great Jarl. I can try to go for it if you want to. Let me know in the comment, what do you think? Should I go for the Great Jarl, or should I bank on Ragnarok? I'll tell you what. I might be able to do this, but I have to be able to kick him out. So he has an army of 7. I have an army of 7, but he has more combat cards. He can play 5. I have 2. So I would have to fight him more than once. More than once. Oh boy. Increase one of your armies by 1. 3, maybe this one. We don't need it, but I think I should. I should go 3. I'm going to try for Great Jarl. I'm just going to try, and we're just going to see what happens. All right, cool. I got to do that. Now I get to move my hero. No, I get to collect runes, and I don't have any runes in my region to collect. So now I get to move my hero or my Drakkar or heal my hero. I don't need to heal because I don't have any injuries. An injury would be if one of these was flipped over, and I can only get injured during a hunt when I'm hunting a monster. And again, I haven't gotten to do that. So, oh, bodega. So I want to stay wherever combat's going to happen. I want my hero to be wherever combat's going to happen. And I've caused myself trouble. Yeah, I have. I really have. I'll tell you what, I'm going to move here because I think the next combat's going to happen here. So, move my hero there. Now I get to do my rune actions. And let me look at my cheat sheet here. I have 3 runes, but it says 3 different runes, and I have 2 matching runes. I didn't pay attention to that earlier, I don't think. Oh boy, okay. So I could increase the attribute lowest on the attribute tracks by 1, or draw 2 combat cards if I spend 3 different runes. I could spend 2 different runes. I do have 2 different runes. To increase the value of the armies by 1, activate a monster, or draw a combat card. I am going to be going into combat, so a combat card wouldn't hurt, but a higher army value could be even better. It really could be. So I'm going to spend 2 runes. That's what matters. So let's take these 2. We're taking them out of there. We had 2. We're going to put them over here. And I want to... You know what? I could go here. Actually, that's what we're going to do. I'm going to take those 2 back. I'm going to take one of them back. So I only spent 1. Okay, and it was this one right here. I spent this 1. So my hero, instead of moving there, I moved here. He's still going to be in the land where I think the attack's going to happen, because he gives a boon of +1 army if he's in a land where the attack happens. I'm going to spend this rune to make an alliance with Niflheim. And here's why I'm doing that. 1, I get to make an alliance with Niflheim. So when we use the prepare action, or anybody uses it, then I get to apply this benefit, which is move my Drakkar or place one of my armies into any region I control. That's pretty powerful. But since I'm the first to make an alliance there, I also get to draw a combat card, which is a shield, which can be useful. Okay, cool. So I have my max of 3 combat cards, and I only had to spend 1 rune, and I made an alliance. And I hope I haven't missed it. Whenever I place, if I ever place one of my tokens on top of the opponent's, then you don't apply the realm bonus. Instead, whoever you placed it on top of, if it's the AI opponent, he gets a rune or a combat card, whichever he's lower on. And if he places it on top of mine, then I believe I get a rune of my choice. I might have to double check that. I don't think I've seen that happen in this game. It happened in my previous plays. Anyway. Okay, we're done with rune actions. So now we are going to move on to maneuvers. And for maneuvers, I'm going to move an army. I was thinking to move this army right here, 3, and go like this, boom. Because I have population of 3, now I have that section. So I'm going to need to move Loki. So I'm going to need to, for one of my next special actions, I will have to probably move my hero here. Actually, that's what I should have done. Can I go back and do that? Because it doesn't affect anything. If you have a problem with that, let me know. This one, it doesn't affect anything other than it's smarter. But I'm still adjacent to Niflheim, and I'm still in the land with my army. So if you're okay with that, if you're not, let me know. Let me know. Okay. I'm going to do that. In a multiplayer game, I would let someone else do that. But not everyone is that way. Cool. There we go. So he's going to be there, which means in my next turn, I can spend runes. Do they need to be 3 matching is the trouble. No, it only needs to be 1. 1. I can activate the boss ability, which is going to move him somewhere else. Hopefully, so I can invade that area. I might be able to win by Great Jarl. I don't know. I don't know. Oh my goodness. Okay, anyway. Now I have to pick a special action. So I can reinforce this turn and then mobilize in another turn. And I think that's what I want to do. If I reinforce, I don't get any benefit because I don't have an alliance over there, but I don't desperately need a rune, so we might be okay. I think I'm going to... I could usurp, actually. No, I can't, because if I try to usurp, then I do believe usurp draws the... So here's the thing. When you go into combat against... So let's say I go into combat here. Boom. I would go against this army. However, when the follower is defending, if there's an adjacent army, so let's pretend this was right here. If there was an adjacent army, all the adjacent armies get drawn into the battle too. This only applies in solo play for the follower, not you. That is a good way to pull them out of territories. That's kind of the strategy of it. But here's my trouble. I believe you were there. My trouble with that is, does that apply to usurp? So if I go here, no, let's say I'm right here and I usurp this region. The population value is 1 normally in a multiplayer game, or if the follower was going against me. If I usurp, does usurp also draw them over to defend? Let me double check the rulebook for this. And I get to correct something. If I place a token on top of here, they only gain a rune. It's not a rune or a combat card, whichever they need most of. It's just a rune. So not that different, but clarify that for you. It's the realms that is the rune or combat card. So if it has an alliance with the realm, it gets a rune or a combat card, whichever it's lower on. Okay, so I just got those mixed up. Okay, I think I have my answer. A battle is... So the only time that you defend with an army is if you move one of your armies into a region to attack it. So if I moved my army here and I wanted to take over that, well, it would normally have a population value of 1, but since I moved an army in, a combat is triggered, and any adjacent armies would be moved into this area and added to that value. I'm not moving an army in, so I can't find anything that says usurp would trigger combat, as it is different. So I'm going to treat it as if it's not that way. And you can move a hero into a region with the boss. So I'm going to usurp with my hero right here, which might be a little bit of a waste. Actually, no, I think it's okay. I think it's okay. Because that means in the next turn, this is the first one that he's going to move into, but at least he's retreating that away. I don't know. So I'm going to use the Is it worth it to use Usurp instead of activating my armies with so few turns? I think it is. Oh boy. But only if I have a total of 3 turns. Only if I have a total of 3 turns. And it's not absolutely critical right at the moment. So you know what? Let's not do that. Let's not usurp. Stay with me. Stay with me. Let's reinforce first, and then we'll mobilize. So we get 1 rune for Beowulf. Again, doesn't matter what it is. They're all wild for Beowulf. Okay. Now I get to place 1 army onto the board with a value equal to my authority, which is 3, onto any settlement that I control. So I've got a settlement here. I'm not interested in putting something there. I've got a settlement here as well, and here. So, boy oh boy, oh boy. I kind of want to... I would rather him attack here than here. So, I'm going to put this right here. Boom. And... I'm really just feeling like I should usurp to draw him away. Ah. Okay. I think that's the wisest choice, actually. I do. I think that's my best choice. So I'm going to undo that, okay? Bear with me. Bear with me. So here we go. Take off your rune. And take off my army of 3. And we're going to go to Usurp, which is Svartalfheim. Nobody has no alliance there. So don't get any benefits. And I get to Usurp. I have an authority of 3. He has a value of 1. Boom. Usurp. There we go. I now have control of this region with a shrine. Could always build a temple. I don't have time for that. And I'm so sorry. I corrected this in the last video. It's my might, not my authority. Oh my goodness. But it doesn't matter because my might is at 2. That's still a 1. It doesn't make a difference. Keep getting those two confused. Authority is for when you place an army. Might is for usurp in combat cards and such. Okay. I did my special action. There's a lot going on. But I kind of like all the moving parts. That's the end of my turn. That was my special action. There's nothing else to do. Boy, I hope I'm not making a mistake by ignoring what's going on with Ragnarok coming. Let's go back to the follower's turn. All right, the follower does have a priest. He's going to place it on Freya for wisdom because that's his lowest one. So go up by 1. And he also gets the benefit, gain 1 rune of your choice. Sure. There we go. Okay. So he's got a slightly higher... Did I raise the right one? I think it was authority, not Freya. Oh my goodness. Okay, let's do this again. Let's place the priest on authority. There we go. Odin. So he took both spaces. Authority goes up by 1. And increase the value of one of your armies by 1. And, okay, and it always increases the army of adjacent to the most regions it doesn't control. 1, 2, 3, eek. Or 1 and 2. I wish it was 3. Or 1. Okay, so this is the one going up. He's up to 6. This is a scary army right there. Wow. Okay, but that's done. Pick a rune in a region. He is not adjacent to one either, so that's done. And he is going to move. So first we need to roll the dice. 1. Mobilize. I don't like that at all. But you know what? It's going to happen. Um, it's going to happen, so let's just do it. Here we go. Mobilize, and we move to number 7. So Beowulf is going to launch in the air. 1, 2, 5, 6, 7. There we go. He just took a little jump. Little jump. Now, we are going to do our rune action. We have no runes, so he is going to draw 1 rune for his rune action. There we go. Boom. Now, we get to go to our maneuvers. And he's going to invade the region occupied by me, right down here. Boom. I knew he was going to do it. And I don't know if that was a waste, but it did at least retreat him back 1 space. I don't know if that's going to be a good thing or not. I really don't. Okay, now he's going to do his special action, which we already saw is mobilize. So let's do it. Let's go to mobilize, and that is Vanaheim. And we both have an alliance in Vanaheim. He has 8 combat cards, so he's going to get a rune of his choice. I am going to gain 1 rune of my choice as well, and I'm going to make that a different one. So I have 3 unique runes in case I want to do a 3 rune action. We'll see if I do or not. Maneuvers are done. Good. Special action, mobilize. To do the mobilize, he activates each hero, I do believe. We haven't done this one in this playthrough yet, so let's see here. In ascending value order, check for each of its armies and whether it can invade. If the follower gained no new regions during this special action, place a desolation token. Okay. Alright, let's do this. So, can it invade? We've got a 6 against a 5. Yes, it can invade. And it will. Unfortunately, my hero's here. He's going to be of no help. So this is kind of not really what I wanted to happen. I should have looked and seen that mobilize was a very likely option. But that's okay. It's going to happen. This is good. You get to see a battle where I'm defending. So I have 3 combat cards that I can play if I want to. Let's go through how combat works. Okay, so what I have is I have an army of 5, and I have 3 combat cards I can choose to play or pass. Each one of these adds to my combat value. So I have a combat value of 5. If I had any artifacts or blessings that affected combat value, I could add those in. If I were to play a card, I would use the battle on the bottom part. This would add to my combat value. So if I played the shield, I would gain 1 combat value, and I would get the benefit. When applying casualties, ignore 2 casualties. That's awesome. What are casualties? We talked about it in the last part of this playthrough, the last video. But basically, this little skull icon, that is a casualty. So if I play this card, what it means is when the battle is over, I have to reduce my remaining army by the amount of casualties there. That could mean I end up losing the army entirely. So 1 casualty I'd have to reduce from 5 to 4 at the end of the battle. Only at the end, not during. So that shield could be useful. So I could have a total of, I could play all 3 and have a total of 2, 3, 4, total of 9. Ignore casualties. He has 6, 7, 8. He's starting with 8, and he has a might of, no, a wisdom. Wisdom is what he gets. A wisdom of 3. So he's going to draw 3 cards as well. So he's starting at 8. I'm starting at 5. And we have the same amount of combat cards. I don't think I'm going to win. So I almost feel like I should retreat. I think I should retreat because he will have to reduce his army by 1 no matter what. I will have to reduce my army by 1, I believe, and retreat to a nearby region. That's it. Yeah. So I'm not going to play any combat cards. Um, because his casualties, no matter what, whether he wins or loses, he takes 1 casualty. The casualties don't matter on his cards. So yeah, it's not going to fly. So we're just I'm going to pass. So what he would do is he would randomly draw cards from his combat deck. So he's randomly going to draw 3. Leave him face down. If so, in my turn, if I played let's say that I played a combat card, boom, then he would flip his combat card. Defender goes first. So played it, then the attacker would go, right? And then I could play another, he would play another. I'm not. What I'm going to do is pass. So the way that works is if you pass, if his army value is higher than your army value, then he passes as well, and you apply the final effects of of casualties. Each of us would go down by 1. Loser retreats. I would have to apply the casualties from my cards as well. Interestingly, if you the 1 casualty that you apply, whether winning or losing, let's say his army was down to 1, and so reducing his casualties by 1 would eliminate this army. You would only be able to do that, the final army, if he lost the battle. So there's a lot going on, but you get it. All right. Because I passed, he's at a combat value of 6. I have no blessings or artifacts to help me, and my hero is not in the same land to add his bonus of +1 battle. So that's kind of sad. I have to retreat. I believe I can retreat to any region that I'm aware of. I can. So I'm going to retreat here to 4. Boom. And that means I will retreat, I think, to this section right here, which will give me control of that area. Boom. And I mean, I could go here and just plan on taking it, but I think we'll do that actually. I'm going to move here. I'm right next to him, I know, but that's what we're going to do. We're going to retreat to this section. It's neutral. It's not going to trigger a battle. And it's population of 5. I only have an army value of 4. It doesn't help me. I didn't look at these 3 cards, so I'm putting them back over here. 1, 2, 3. Any cards that the follower would have played would be discarded, and that's that. So he gets to take control of this region. Boom. Winning by Jarl is looking a lot less because of those artifact cards. And an army of 8 is impossible. But that's fine. So he went down by 1 to 5. And that is it. That is it. All right. That was mobilized. Now special action is going to be, or that was that the special action? Yes, it was. Okay. So that was only one of them. Good. Gravy Davis. All right, so next one. Can they invade? They cannot invade, so they will increase their army by 1, 2, 3. So that's an army of 3. And this one, an army value of 1, cannot invade anywhere, so he's going to increase his value to 2. There we go. If we had not conquered, if the follower had not invaded any regions, then we would have to place a desolation token right there. If you place all 5 desolation tokens, the game ends immediately. You lose, and Surtur's follower ends up taking over, desolating Midgard. All right. Okay, that takes us to the end. Let's see, there's no special text, so we remove this. This gets removed from the game. Boom. And we slide our cards to the left. Boom, boom. And there we go. Monsters is on the table. Okay. Monsters is an option, but so is Mobilize, and so is Usurp. So he could usurp this region, no problem. So I'm in trouble. But I went I can either change the plan now and plan for Ragnarok, or keep going hard to try for Great Jarl, just to see what happens. And I'm going to keep going for Great Jarl. I get to place a priest. And I can't place it on Odin, so I don't need more combat cards. So we'll go with Wisdom, which is a bummer and kind of useless because, no, it's not. Actually, that's good. I'm going to place a priest because here's what it's going to do. It's going to raise my Wisdom by 1, which means I can gain 1 rune of my choice. I now have room for it, and I didn't before. So I don't really care which one it is at this point. I really don't. I should pay attention to that. Probably a Y if I go down this direction. I don't know why I would, but whatever. Let's just do it. Let's do a Y right there. All right, cool. I placed my priest. Now I get to move my dude if I want to. I would do rune forging, but I'm not on any rune forge. I can move my hero, which I should, because the next most likely battle is going to be this, which is green. So I might want to move there. Or I can stay here and use a rune to move the boss. Let me see what my 3 rune actions are. Because at some point I'm going to have to move the boss. I can increase an attribute or draw 2 combat cards. I can draw 1 more combat card, but I don't need 2. Or I can use 2 runes to increase the value of an army by 1. Or I can move to where these monsters are and activate one of these monsters, which could be quite useful. But since a battle is going to happen, I think I would rather go here and give him the extra army value. Give him an extra army value, and because if I increase that to 4, he invades. I'm going to start at 5. He's going to start at 7. Oh, boy. Which means, and he's going to attack this over this because there's a shrine. Oh my goodness, this is difficult. This is very difficult. I could activate one of his monsters. So if they attack a region, they discard a combat card or a rune. Or I could activate Grendel, and Grendel, armies must withdraw from a region with Grendel. So that would be this right here. Discard a control marker from that region. Okay. I mean, that's all right, but I don't think it's as good because he's just going to move to there. Which at least it helps me work toward winning. I'll tell you what. I'm going to have to go for winning by Ragnarok. I just think that's the hand. Considering the cards that are coming up for him, I just think that's what's going to have to happen. Okay, so what am I doing? I am activating a monster. So I'm going to move my hero. Where were you, Beowulf? Or where was I? Right there. Okay. So instead of going there, I'm going to go, I was right here. I'm going to go 1, 2, and I am going to spend 2 different runes. 2 different runes to activate a monster. That's what it says, right? Spend 2 different runes to activate a neutral or controlled monster. So I'm going to go 1 and 2. Spend those 2. And I'm going to activate Grendel. So for Grendel, I would love for it to be a region attack. Okay. But if it's a stomp, then it's a stomp, and that's fine too. It's my choice. I'm going to go with region attack, which means all armies must withdraw, and I must remove this control marker. I'll take it. So I don't control the region, but at least his army is not there. So that's that. All right. Now I get to maneuver. I'm going to maneuver by using this army activation to remove this here. So activate the army and remove that, place it there. I get to take a blessing card. Boom. And I believe when it's a blessing, it's not a blessing draft, so I just draw one. After you end the hunt, immediately gain the bonuses. That's useless. Awesome. Okay, and I forgot to show you. The reason I was able to do that, my army is a value of 4. That desolation was of 4, excuse me. So I matched it or exceeded it. Boom. So I get to put it there. So if I want to remove this one, I need to have an army of 5 and activate to go against it to remove that desolation. All right, so that's an army of 4, and it's not enough to take this region. That was that. Now I need to take my special action, which is going to be to, I believe, reinforce. Yes, I think I need to reinforce first. And then I could always build a temple. Like, that's wonderful, because then I get a priest for the next round. But is this the time to do that? I don't think so. A bad thing if the follower ever is in combat in a region with a temple, and I believe it has to be a region that he controls with a temple, then they gain a bonus. You get to add all of their authority to their combat value. So that's a bad thing. You don't want them fighting in a region with a temple. There's a lot going on here. Wow. Oh my goodness. Okay. All right, special action, reinforce. Where's my armies? There we go. Army of 3 onto any encampment or whatever we call it, colony, something like that, that I control, which would probably best be this one maybe, because then he's most likely to go that way. And if he usurps, I can still move an army to take it back. I think that's more useful than being over here. I do. Although we don't know where he's going to move before he does usurp, actually. So, army of 3 to go here. And that's it. Yeah, that's it. Okay, that's it. I think that's it for that special action. And let's go to the followers next turn. Here we go. Try to, a 3 monsters. Oh boy. Okay, so we are getting close to Ragnarok. Because we've already done the monsters action for the follower, which means he's going to do his priority action, which is monsters, and he can't do, which means he's going to do prepare. So he's going to do prepare, which means on his next, the next building of a monument is coming, and that's when we check for Ragnarok prerequisites, so we're about there. All right. Yeah, I'm definitely, with these changes, I'm going for Ragnarok. Okay. What do we do? First thing we do is place our priests. There are no priests to place. Next, we are going to pick a rune. There's no rune to pick. Next, we're going to move our hero to number 8. Not too far away. 7 and 8, all the way up there. But he's going to try to control a region with a temple. Ooh, except he's not usurping this time, so we're okay. Thank goodness. All right. Next, we are going to do our rune action. He has 2 runes. So the first option is recruit an army, and I think that is 2 runes. Or is that 3? That's 3 runes. He doesn't have 3, so we can't do it. He's going to draw combat cards. He has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Can't do it. His next, we skip that one, so he has to draw a rune, which he can do because his wisdom is up there now. So he can do a third. There we go. So we got spared on rune actions for a hot second there. All right, let's do our maneuvers. To maneuver, we are going to look for an area to invade according to his priorities. He can invade right here, but he prefers a region that I control. So that would be this one. So 5 to 3, he would go against the one with the lowest army value. So he has 3 options. So this would win out. So he's going to go here. And that's going to start combat. 5 against 3. And I'm not going to beat him because I don't have the bonus of my hero. I don't have blessings or artifacts. I'm not going to waste my cards. Although I do get to use my special abilities. So you know what? We need to whittle him down. I'm wondering if or leave him. No, I'm going to use at least 1. So let's do this. We're going to battle. So I've got my 3 cards. He has a wisdom of 3, so he gets 3 random cards. Boom, boom, boom. I'm going to play one. I'm going to play the... I can't play the spear because I don't have 2 armies in battle. And I'm going to play archers to immediately decrease the value of one of your opponent's armies in the battle by 1. They cannot be killed this way. Did I not decrease him last time or something? Because he should have been at 5. So he should be down to 4 now. Unless I did something wrong. Did I take him back up? I don't think I did. Because when we activated, he invaded. I don't know. Or when we mobilized, he invaded. So he should be down to 4 with 2 artifacts, so that's an army value of 6. Now, he's going to play a combat card. We'll put it right there. That's an attack value of 1, so he's at 6, he's at 7, and I'm at 4. I am going to suffer a casualty after this. I can ignore that. I'm going to play this to ignore the casualty so that I still have an army after this. And he's going to play 1. So he has 1, 2, 3, 7. He has 9. I have 5. So even if I played this, I wouldn't be high enough. So I'll save this. I'll stop there. We get to discard all of these. I don't have to apply my casualties. I lose that combat. So I reduce mine by 1. And I retreat to another region. I don't know if it has to be a player-controlled region. Let me check that. Okay. I can withdraw to any region, so I'd like to withdraw to here, and that's a population value not of 1. No. See, if I move there, then it's going to trigger another battle. He's going to come back here, which might not be a bad idea, actually. Or I can draw him away, like draw him over there, so that he attacks me over there, and I focus on this. I'm going to do that. I wonder if that'll work. I'm going to retreat here. And he has population value of 4, so he takes this region because it was 1 because my token was on it. Or 0. I forget if it counts as 1 or 0. It doesn't matter either way. It's the same thing. Okay. All right, that was his maneuvers. Now his special action would be monster. We know it can't be that, so he's going to do prepare, which means he draws combat cards up to like 8. He draws runes up to his wisdom. He's already up to his wisdom, and he draws, I think, combat cards equal to his wisdom or his might. I don't remember, but either way, he's at 5, so 3 more. I think he draws up to 8. I don't know. 2 and 3. I will check the rolls just because we've done this one before. I'm just blanking on it at the moment. Let's see. Rune actions, special actions, prepare. If it has 6 or more runes and 8 combat cards, consider it unavailable. Otherwise, it draws runes equal to its wisdom and 2 combat cards. Equal to its wisdom means it would draw 3, but that would exceed its wisdom value. And from what I understand, the follower has to obey the wisdom value for runes, but it ignores wisdom for combat cards. So whatever. We did that. Cool. Now we apply any special text. If the follower has an army with a value of 5 or more, it draws 3 combat cards. Doesn't matter because he's already at 8. So we shuffle this back into this deck in a moment. But first we move our cards to the left, which we just did, and we'll put this to the right. Build temple. Okay, and then we'll shuffle this in here. See what happens. I don't know. So this is our coming lineup. Usurp, Mobilize, or Build Temple. He can take all of those, so we know that he's not going to be building a monument in the next turn, because he'll only build a monument if he cannot take a special action. I could build a monument. That would be wise of me once I get control of more regions. So for my turn, I don't have a priest to place because I didn't build a temple to make a priest. And, oh, there was one combat card that he didn't use, right? So he wouldn't act, whatever. Either way, he'd be at 8. It's fine. So first of all, I did that. Rune forging, there's no rune there for me to forge. I can move my hero, heal, or move my Drakkar. I don't see a need to move the Drakkar at the moment, so I'd like to move my hero into a region where there might be battle, which is going to be, I think, this or this. If he stays here, he can be hurt by the monsters, maybe, not really. Population value of 3. What if, because I'm going to do mobilize this time, what if I move the hero right here so I can at least rune forge and do an alliance with Jotunheim? That's what we're going to do. Okay, so I'm moving here to this region. Got it. Now I'm going to do my rune actions of 1 to make an alliance with Jotunheim. So I have to use a matching rune for that region. Done. I make an alliance with Jotunheim. I'm the first one to do that, so I get to draw a combat card. Cool. And it's a spear. Gain +1 battle value if you have at least 2 armies in battle. So, like, that would be great. But, how to do that? Oh, boy. Rune actions are done. I'm going to need my cheat because my brain is just fallen to pieces. Where you at? There you at. Okay. All right. Rune action maneuvers. Cool. I am going to, for maneuvers, I'm going to increase my value to 5 to take control of this region. Boom. And I'm going to take a special action of mobilize, which would be Vanaheim. And since I did that, I get to give a rune to dude, but he already has 3 runes. He's already maxed out, so he can't gain a rune. And if you're this, you don't activate this if you're the second token on top. Okay. You don't activate the realm bonus of Vanaheim. Okay, so let's mobilize. That means I get to activate each one of my armies. So I would like to move. I would like to move an army here, which is going to take over this region. And I would like to move an army here. So we now have 2 armies, and we control 1, 2 out of 5 areas. We control 2 out of 5 regions surrounding Yggdrasil. Yeah? Yeah. Okay. That is mobilize, and I didn't mobilize this. Oh, yeah, I did. I increased to 5. So then this one, I can increase the value to 3, or I can move him here to initiate a battle and just whittle him down again. Or I can move right here. That's actually the best. And let him take over these if he wants. I think that's fine. I could be wrong, but this is it. So I'm going to move here. Boom. Which means my hero really should have moved over here for battle, but we're not battling next round. So we're done with mobilize. It is the follower's turn again. Oh my goodness.